Good day, Andrea.
Hello.
Good, we can hear you. We can hear you. That's a good thing.
Sounds
The
good.
others, they'll be coming soon. Give them about 5, 10 minutes.
Will do.
Hi, Sean.
Hey, Sean.
Good to go, Shar.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean. All right. Welcome everyone to the Wallet Interoperability Special Interest Group call for July 21st, 2025. Today on the agenda, we will hear about Credemy from AndreaD of Forkbomb. Really looking forward to this presentation. I was able to see some of this presentation at the Global Digital Collaboration Conference a couple of weeks ago, and it's really cool tool. So looking forward to digging into it again. We are recording this call and it will be posted on the meeting page later today. We are following the Linux Foundation Antitrust Policy and the Open Wallet Foundation Code of Conduct. All right, let's see. Are there any announcements before we get started, or any introductions? If it's anybody's first time on the call and they want to hop off mute and talk about what they're interested in this space, that would be a great time. So yeah, introductions or announcements. All right, thanks for the agenda link there, Sean, in the chat. Feel free to put your name on the attendees list if you'd like. And yeah, looks like a lot of familiar faces here. Let's see, moving on to some quick project updates. On Akapai, I know there's been a lot of work on LTS releases and Canon. Stephen, did you want to give any more details about happenings there?
Yeah, we got the LTS releases out. One of them still, we were trying to publish to repos that passwords get tricky and so on. It's just such a pain. But anyway, we'll have the LTS releases out. The Canon work is proceeding. There's other reliability and scalability changes in the works. Those are the main things happening right now. The Canon work to improve the storage handling, to improve UIs, is pending, and we'll be taking a look a bit at that tomorrow at the Akapug, but Dave McKay is not able to join, so more the following 2 weeks.
Okay. Awesome, good to hear. Let's see.
And we'll hear about Bifold next week. I haven't seen what's the latest in Credo. So I know lots going on.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, definitely looking forward to diving into Bifold next week. Does anybody else have any updates from any for any of the other projects that they're involved in? All right.
Is the Canon work going to be passed on to other projects apart from Akapai? So things like Bifold could be using it, for example. So
for Bifold, Credo would have to use it.
Yes.
Possibly. I think actually Ariel may know more. I believe they're working on a similar but slightly different approach to it. I've seen a bunch of things about an API they're using for that, but I'm not sure. I've seen PRs from Timo coming in. Ariel, Canon moves the non-key handling stuff out of Ascar and into a more traditional relational database, so that queries can be done and so on. So that the key handling is still done in ASCII, but other data storage for ACPI goes into more traditional databases.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the
cool.
idea also for us, but yeah, it's work in progress at the moment. But yes,
Yeah.
the idea is that we already divided the general storage from the key storage, but right now the team is working on some interface to be able to use any kind of database for the storage, the general storage. Yeah.
That's the drizzle work I think I've seen.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, good. Thank you.
All right, cool. And looking ahead to our next several weeks, next week we are diving into bifold with Placio. Week after that, Ramek is going to dive into interoperability, system requirements, building, running, updating, and documenting. So looking forward to that. And then a couple weeks after that, we will hear about the Longfellow ZKP work. So lots of great things coming up as well as today. So let's see, any other announcements or introductions or project updates before we jump into our presentation?
I have a question. I heard Longfellow that key.
Yes, the Longfellow ZKP work.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
so we're talking to the Longfellow team, specifically Abby and Mateo, about joining
Yes.
this call. They can't do it until early September. So the
Yep.
minute we get it scheduled, we'll let everybody know.
Sounds good. We're looking forward.
Cool. Sounds good. Let's see, if there aren't any other updates or announcements, I will stop my screen share and go ahead and pass it over to you, Andrea. Thanks again so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us. We're very excited. So this is a solution we've been working on for over a year now. I'm gonna give you a very, very brief intro before I demo the software. We've been working on AOD, ARF/AOD wallet digital identity for about a couple of years now. Especially in the beginning, both due to our lack of experience, but also due to the fact that the transport protocols, namely OpenID for VCI and OpenID for VP, were still very mature. We have found ourselves asking some good friends questions like, can I fit this key value in this well-known file? And what happens if I set this parameter this way? And the answers we got most of the times were, if the standards are not clear, then do as you see fit. This little circus happened maybe 5 or 6 times within 3 months. At that point, we realized that interoperability in AOD/ARF would have been complicated. And this was confirmed by the way all the large-scale pilots have been, well, most, not all, of the large-scale pilots have been dealing with interoperability. So particularly 2 of them were organizing large events where people met in person. So they gathered like 50 people in a room who had to fill a lot of paperwork, and then they were hanging around and scanning a QR code with their phones and then reporting the results. Everything was done manually. So when we realized that that was the state of the art, we thought that we may do something better. So our solution, CreatingMe, came to mind. I think it's a good moment for me to share my screen. All right. Let me see if I can move this away. Yes, I can. So can you see my screen now?
Looking good.
Yes, looks great.
Perfect. So for those who want to have a sneak peek, you just, let me paste a link here in the chat. You just land on creatingme.io. At the moment, it will still redirect you to demo.creatingme.io. We're changing this to something permanent because we're going in we're going public these days. Basically, the first public demonstration that we did was in Geneva, and this is the third one that we speak to more than one people about this. So here on demo.cradle.io, you have the our deployment. Here you have source code. The whole solution is open source. And on docs.cradle.io, you have the manual, which is still a long way ahead, but it can help you if you want to set it up locally by building the whole solution or using Docker. So what does AndreaD do? We branded it AandreaD Wallet, Conformance, Interoperability, and Marketplace. So at the moment, it's very AandreaD centered, primarily because we're based in Europe, so that's what we're focusing on. But we really have plans to integrate W3C VC credentials. We're talking with people at EPSI, and we have a couple other people interested in having their credential system plugged in. So for now, it's AandreaD Wallet, but within the next 6 months, you should see other standards popping up. Conformance, interoperability, and marketplace. Let's start with the marketplace. So you land on this page. Here you can click on Explore the marketplace, and you see a bunch of cards. So this is the GUI is more or less there. It definitely needs some work, but from here you can see that we have one wallet on the marketplace, which is ours. Then we have a couple of credential issuers. Then we have some credentials. And then we have some verifiers. I'm going to show you, for example, what happens if I click on a credential issuer. There is some metadata, and then it shows to one credential issuance that is linked to this issuer. So I land here, and I find the metadata that was extracted from the well-known file, a QR code that should actually work along with the credential subject, which is something specific for AandreaD Wallet issues. I want to show you how to populate these things here. So I'm going to click on Developer Dashboard. I land on this page. I have 5 tabs: Service and Products, which we're going to look at right now; Test Runs, which we're going to look at in the next 5 minutes; Custom Checks. I don't know if we have time today, but I can say a word about it. Then Organization Profile. So profile is obviously my user. Organization is, oh, perfect. All right, demo effect. Anyway, this is my organization that I can customize. What I want to show you here is this. Let me delete this one. I will show you how to enter an issuer and some credentials onto the platform. So anyone who has an OpenID for VCI compatible issuer can just go here, enter the URL. No, not this one. This. Enter the URL of the issuer. HTTPS like this. And as you could see, so this appeared and the credentials were added in real time. So what the software does here is that it finds the well-known of the issuer and it loads the credential being offered by that issuer in real time, which you can later customize and publish. So here, for example, to the issuer, I can add my issuer. I can add the logo and the homepage. Yeah, and then I can publish it. No, that's not good enough. Like this, yes. After I've done this, I can pick one or more credentials. And the deep link to get a credential is auto-generated. It's based on the well-known and based on the OpenID for VCI, the latest specifications. Nevertheless, we give the chance to people registering the services to customize it. Then you can add some description. You can say hello, OWF, test credential. All right, and then I can publish it to the marketplace. The moment I publish it to the marketplace, anyone should be able to go here and this should appear in the bottom. I'm gonna filter out just the credentials. And I believe that this is from 21st of July. Yes, so that's the one I just added. Something similar we can do for the wallets. So for the wallets, basically you just add the metadata. So you add an app name, a description, a logo. Then you can add the Play Store URL, App Store URL. If it's open source, you add the repository, the homepage of the wallets. And you can also add, this is something that we're still working on, but you can manually add all the conformance tests that the wallet has passed, which are going to appear in the wallet cards. And later on, we will also implement, this is something we have to do before the end of the year, we will implement a ranking of the issuers, the verifiers, and the wallets based on how many tests and which test they passed. So this I'm going to close now. Something similar you can do with the verifiers. With the verifiers, we were not able to find a way to scrape the website or to scrape the online verifier. So you have to add it manually. So basically, you add the verifier manually, just add metadata here. Let's pretend I've just done this. After I added the verifier, you can add individual, we call them verification use cases. So this is something that when you click on the QR code that you will see on the marketplace, you should land on the verifier of a specific use case. This is also something I can share in the marketplace. So Bidroom UBC CA. And I could actually demonstrate to you that works for real. Sorry, I have to go here and then use case verification and this one. So the QR code was generated from the URL that we entered manually. This is the marketplace part, marketplace/interoperability. Here in the middle of the page, there is a screenshot which is still grayed out because we haven't finished implementing it yet. But we want to have comparisons of issuers, verifiers, and wallets based on the tests that they passed. I'm going to use this to introduce you what is probably the most technically interesting part of the solution, which is the conformance testing part. So we're going to end up to the section named Start a New Check with a big beta tag next to it. So this is stuff that already works. It needs some more working based in terms of user interface, as well as in terms of interoperability connectivity. I'm going to dig into that in a second. So you'll end here, and you are shown a menu where you can pick a standard and the component that's going to be tested. So right now we have OpenID for VCI wallet. We do not have OpenID for VCI issuer yet. This is mainly because the main test we're using, the one from the OpenID Foundation, is still in alpha. So we want to wait till it's a bit more stable. But we do have OpenID for VP verifier and OpenID for VP wallet tests. When you select one of these radio buttons, you're presented with a long list of items, split right now into categories. The two categories are the two different interoperability tests, well, conformance tests that we integrated into Credimi. EWC is one of the 4 large-scale pilots that were paid by the European Commission to get people to write software and collaborate on AndreaD. And the EWC was one of the most successful. One of the main reasons that they actually implemented their own tests. So the things that you see here, RFC as the JOT did JWK. This is a test of one of the use cases that was implemented in the EWC interoperability test bed. I'm now going to give you a live demo of an API flow that uses the OpenID conformance suite as backend. So the work that we did is that we worked very close with the fine fellows from the OpenAid Foundation, particularly with Josefina, who has been incredibly helpful, coming to help whenever we needed it. And we did integrate their conformance suite into our solution. What we did here is that all the checkbox you see here is basically, they basically represent all the test setup possibilities you have unrolled in this format. So here, for example, you read ISO MDL column, did request you resign column, direct post.jwt. This tells you that here the conformance suite will test a credential in MDL format. So if you look here, you have the first bunch is ISO MDL, then you scroll down, you have SDJOT with some other parameters. I managed to do something magical today. I managed to connect my actual phone. So now you can see my phone through the webcam as well as on the screen. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a happy flow, verifying a real credential using the Talal wallet. So request query, unsigned direct post. This is what I believe I have to select. So I select one test. Bear in mind, I could select multiple. I'm not going to do it now for time, for brevity, for sake of brevity. But we could select multiple, theoretically all of them. And in the next page, if I selected multiple, this auto-generated page would allow me to enter data in batch, so that if 3 tests require the same input, I wouldn't need to add it 3 times. I would just need to add it once, and behind the curtain, the software would start multiple tests with the parameters I entered here manually. So here I can set up, I can give some input data. So this is this represents the keys that would be in the wallet that are going to be tested by the OpenAid Foundation tests, and this is the presentation definition. So this is the shape, the format of the credential that's going to be tested. In this case, we pre-filled all of this with the input that we know that works. The only data that we have to write manually is the description, which can be whatever I want. So I will write hello OWF. And I'm gonna go further and start checks. Before I do that, I wanna show you this very first experiment we did with the integration. So the idea of behind our software is that everything you do now, everything you see done via GUI, we will very soon be able to execute it via APIs. And the very first step we're doing is we just allow you to execute it via curl. So theoretically, if you run this curl into your machine, you should be able to start the test and land on the page that allows you to go on with test. Anyway, I think I said too much already. Let me get straight into action. When I click here, I land in the back in the developer dashboard in the test runs tab. This item appeared. I'm going to click on it. Okay. And here I can start the live demo. So what you see here are the logs given by produced by the OpenAid Foundation tests. So what I will do is, so you can see my phone here, right? What I will do is, just to show I'm not faking, I'm gonna fire up the Talal wallet. Here we go. Then I'm gonna scan this QR code. And at this point, you see that the scroll bar here is going down. So I'm going to show you what I do with the phone so that you can follow. So something else happened, response. Then I select first name, family name, and share. And here it's asking me if the response request is fine, so I click on continue. And the wallet reported success, and this also here reported success. All right. At the moment, we are not yet processing the full log, so the best I can do is write everything fine and click on confirm success. Yes. Awesome. This has been happening every once in a while, so the software's been kicking me out. All right. Yeah, this is again the demo effect that I guess everyone is very familiar with. Okay, the stuff that I wanted to show you as well, now I cannot show you it fully because we are still fighting with the UX. Anyway, all the input that I passed in all the steps, along with all the outputs, is being notarized by the framework that we plugged into the solution, which is called Temporal. So here you read the whole input, which is some of it is what we selected in the UX UI. Some of it is data passed by the wallet, and this is the result, which is the full output of the OpenID Foundation tests. Everything that happened in between, we can look at it here. Now I'm going to click on this, but it's going to shut down because we're having responsiveness issues. I can show it to you in JSON logs. So all the steps that were performed are notarized in individual objects. So all the API calls with all the parameters passed and all the outputs is notarized here, meaning that I will be able, as soon as we're done with the APIs, I will be able to execute a test with a given set with a certain inputs over and over again. So I can call the API, I can rerun the same test with the same input, or I can call an API and pass a different input. Why is this important? Because our goal is to allow developers to plug this into their CI/CD so that whenever they push a new version of their wallet, of their issuer or their verifier on GitHub or whatever repository they want to use, they can, via CI/CD, they can trigger a test run of our platform with a set of parameters that they decide, that works for them. Something else, okay, let me go back. So, yeah, this, I think I can remove it from the list. This is a list of tests that I passed before. Some of them came out, some failed. Something else that I want to show you that we're working on is relative to mobile testing automation. So that's maybe something we can show in the demo in the near future. We are plugging into CreateMe something called maestro.dev, which we could have been able to demonstrate if Puri wouldn't be sitting on a tray right now, because it can run it. So Maestro allows you to script the behavior of the user onto a certain app, then send the scripts to the emulator simulator, and run the application in the emulator simulator and perform the test. We have plugged in 3 different wallets now. We're plugged in ours, we plugged Talal, and I believe also SpruceD. Yeah, this requires a little bit more wiring, but this is also something that we should be able to show by the end of the year. Very, very quickly, I think I have a bit more time, but I just want to go. Okay. All right, error 500, but when I refresh, it works. We want to give the users the chance to write tests easily to their existing issuers and verifiers. This is because we believe that most people developing their own technology, they have used their own issuer to do, or their own issuer, their own verifier to do integration tests. So we have been working to allow people to write an integration test to their own existing software, using something as easy as YAML. So here in this case, we are performing a full issuance flow with the issuer from the reference implementation from Skitalis. So this is 150 lines of YAML, and I will not execute this now, but this is something that can also be made public. So if I check this checkbox, this test will appear here in the custom check section. So all these things that happen here, they are tests written by third parties to do custom integration. Okay, and that was my demo. Again, the software is open source. The backend is written primarily in Go with some TypeScript. And yes, someone is probably wondering about our business model. So the marketplace is going to be free for all forever. So we invite everyone who has an identity solution to create an account. I'm going to show you that you can create an account just by clicking login, and you can log in with GitHub, with Google, or just user and password. So you can create an account, land here, and add your issuers and your verifiers and wallets. Later on, we think that we will add the limits to the tests that can be run per day or per month. So maybe we'll add some pricing on that. But the marketplace is going to be free forever, and the software is very white label friendly. So anyone that wants to deploy it locally or deploy it for their own organization, their own setup, we're very happy to support. And I think that I'm done.
Thank you so much, Andrea. Really appreciated the demo and the explanation. Yeah, looks like David, you have a question.
Yeah, thank you. Really good to see that. You made reference to using the OpenID Foundation test suite, which I presume you're keeping up to date with their master list. Is that correct?
We are using their own deployment.
Yeah.
So we got an API key, and in the flow that I showed you before, under the hood, we're calling their deployment.
Right. Thank you. And when you say, how close would you say you are to production ready for this?
For the tests or for the marketplace?
The tests.
That's a very good question. We're planning to have 3 pilot organizations onboarding between now and September. In September, we should officially join the We Build large-scale pilots, and this is one of the main offerings we give. So we aim at some point in Q4 to be production ready for the tests. In reality, 75% of what I showed you works already for real. It needs a lot of polishing on the GUI side. We need to produce reports, which we're not doing yet. And we are, as we speak, we have 2 developers working on APIs to allow developers to plug this to their existing CI/CD. This stuff we're gonna show it in September, and then as soon as it will stop crashing every second time, then we are production ready.
Okay. And just one more question, if I may. do you plan to produce a verified credential of the outputs of a test so it could be fed into a certification process to say it had successfully run and it therefore became an auditable verified credential for the test?
This is definitely something we're capable of doing, and this is one of the first things we thought about, so that as soon as you pass a certain test, we give you a blue stamp in the form of W3CVC.
And I'm terrible. Sorry, I've got another question. You've got a vast collection of tests. What would be the performance implications if you went mad and selected all the tests?
I would say that depends on the tests, because our platform performs a little more than a pass-through. So if you would run 50 tests at once on the OpenID Foundation deployment, so we have to ask Josephine how battle tested this deployment is. But in reality, so again, for the OpenID Foundation test, we used their deployment because we thought it was too complicated for us to deploy it ourselves, even though we have begun to speak about having our own deployment. For EWC, this was a pretty simple repo written in Python, so we deployed our own. Okay. And also if you want to deploy your own CreateMe, the URL of the conformance tests can be set up in the M file.
Right. Thank you.
You're very happy to get these kind of questions, because it makes me feel that you have a good understanding of what we're working on.
Absolutely.
Anybody else?
I had a question. So could you talk about, so you chose to be a part of the EWC large scale pilot. Could you talk about what made you choose that one over some of the other current large scale pilots?
So we were not a party of EWC. We just we got in touch with them, and we plugged their own interoperability tests into our solution.
Okay.
Now, I guess the question was why we picked those, and the answer is that those are the only ones that produce usable tests. There were 4 large-scale pilots. They all just ended. I think that there were DC4U, EWC, NoBid, and Potential. Out of these 4, only EWC and DC4U produced tests. We approached them both, and while the EWC tests were running and the developers were very supportive, on the DC4EU side, the developers were equally supportive, but they were, let's say that they were less inclined to have their tests plugged into something else, because they are in the middle of rewriting the tests. So the people that wrote the tests from DC4U are the people we spoke with are mainly people working for Sunet.se. So Sunet is a Swedish research network. We spoke with 3 developers, and they all say that they're all going to be rebuilt, and they plan to rewrite the tests that they wrote in DC4U. So they recommend us not to bother to integrate the old ones, because the new ones will be out soon. So as soon as the new ones will be out, we'll integrate them with us as well. And we are also looking at DC API maintained by Digital Bazaar. That's something that we also will start doing in August.
Cool. And which was the LSP you said you're going to join coming up?
The LSP we're going to join is called WeBuild, like we
build. Oh, right.
BUILD.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, thank you. That's interesting.
Very welcome.
Let's see, what other questions do folks have for Andrea?
Romek has a hand raised.
Put the video on. Yeah. Do you want to? One idea might be to do a misbehaving wallet, which doesn't actually behave according to the actual standards you've got. So a sort of like a badly written one, as it were, which doesn't, which is to show the actual standards are actually working in a good way. And also, that's a question I have for you. I like what you're doing, Andrea. It's great work. And also, is there any way to drill deeper, as it were, looking further into the standards, as it were, on this?
I believe I need to ask you to rephrase your question.
Of course, yes. First of all, thank you for the work. It's a good start.
You're most welcome.
Secondly, is can we do a wallet which doesn't behave to your standards to sort of like show the good ones actually are good?
Our approach while writing the solution was not to write our own tests, but to plug in existing tests.
Yes.
However, standardize the where or formalize the where, and also allowing third parties to plug their own tests into the platform. So I believe that to answer your question, in this case, we will need to forward the question to the authors of the test that I wrote. What I can tell you is that, for example, with OpenID with the OpenID Foundation tests, the tests are they return a very verbose log, and you can let me pick a random one here. I will not execute. I'll just show you some. I'll just show you what the parameters that I can fill in. For example, here I can define the encrypted response, which typically will be ES256.
Yeah.
Then this as well. Then the description. I have a lot of parameters I can pass.
Yeah.
Okay. On the other hand, if we try a test from EWC, those tests happen to be use case tests.
Yeah.
Meaning that you don't have any option, you don't have any parameter to pass apart from a session ID. So this knows exactly what credential format to expect and what has to be in the credential. While in the OpenID in the OpenID test, this stuff can be customized. And this is all we know. From DC4U, from our understanding, we deployed their software and then we discussed with them a couple of times. I believe that they are somewhere in between, because there is a user interface that allows you to select how you want the tests to be run. But that's something we saw only a couple of times, so I can't really tell you more about those.
Yeah. More to come. Thank you, Andrew.
Yes.
I'll work on the source code. I'll have a look at the source code level and see what you're doing in that way. Is probably the best thing.
You'd be most welcome, and we are most happy to help and to get back to you for any sort of question you have. This is really our baby, and we're very excited to show it in public, even though it crashed a couple of times in 10 minutes.
It doesn't matter. It's still working pretty much, and you can see everything that's going on, which is the point. The 500s, yeah, it happens.
Yeah,
this demos, and it's showing what you're trying. You're trying to open the box for us. This is the good thing. We're all for you opening the box of showing things working, and thank you for doing so.
And nothing ever survives a live demo.
No.
On beta software, so don't worry. It's really good to see.
Thank you very much.
And thank you.
Yeah, this was great to see. Let's see. Other questions for Andrea? If people are have questions as they're using Codemy, could they reach out to you? Is there an email that would be good for that?
Absolutely. Andrea@forkbomb.eu. I posted the repo already, I believe. Yeah, so you all always most help them to reach out in my email. If you're looking at the code, if you prefer writing an issue on GitHub, that's also fine. We'll get back to
Awesome.
you either way.
Cool. Sounds good. Thank you so much.
I think this is also going to be of great interest to the OWF projects as they try to climb up the hill of evidence and certification as people get them deployed, and certainly the maintainers may be interested in it, but also those that are building product off it. This would be a great assurance function.
We would be most happy to have to make a white label version for OWF. We know that OWF has a place where you can upload your wallet, your verifier solution. If you would like to use this instead, all you have to do is ask, and we're gonna support you forever and ever with big heart.
We might come back to you. We're doing work in the architecture SIG at the moment about mapping all of the projects and helping them be ready for operational deployment with a series of checklists and mapping exercises. And I think if this was a capability that we could introduce to people, it may make life a lot easier. But Romic and I'll have a chat about that in the architecture SIG call in 10 minutes, I'm sure.
If you would like me to show this to the architecture SIG next time, I'll be also happy. Just
yes, it's a very small group, and 2 of them are here, or 3 of us are here, and the 4th one will be fascinated by this. So we'll come back to you, but it's been fantastic and very timely.
It's perfect. I mean, again, we've been working on this for a year, but we went public 3 weeks ago. And before last Friday, so last Friday we showed this to the FIDES community.
Yeah.
Don't know if you know them. It's a community, it's a Dutch-based community that is gathering some AndreaD developers in Europe. They're very good friends. But before last Friday and before Geneva, we only been showing this literally to friends and family. So it's still very early, and this means that whoever has good ideas for how the software could grow, this is an excellent moment to tell us, because your suggestion today could really shape how this will develop.
We'll definitely be back with you.
I have some work, Andrea, on testing work on the current work of the Open Wallet Foundation. And what I'll do is I'll take a local version of this, so it doesn't involve publishing, and see what we get. And then I'll come back to you on this, is probably the best thing to say, and then share it with the parties concerned.
So you want to deploy locally?
I will take it locally. I always do everything locally. I'm a local person. I do everything myself to see what you're doing and see if I can actually build tests myself outside of what you're doing to push the envelope. But I'll share everything with you, of course.
That's extremely exciting. I think you'll be the first person outside our team of developers doing that.
Yeah.
Be aware that the documentation may not be entirely up to date.
Doesn't matter at all. Doesn't matter at all.
Okay.
Whatever's there is always helpful. And I will help you if I'm missing stuff as well, like I'm doing with the Open Wallet Foundation as well. So it's like looking at how they do stuff to open up the APIs and show what's going on here. That's what I'm doing at the moment. Okay.
That'd be fantastic. In case you get stuck somewhere, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you let us know when you're gonna do that, we're gonna try and make ourselves available in that slot, so that if you're stuck somewhere, that we can react in real time.
I'll send you emails if I have problems, but for now I'm fine. I've got the source code. I'll build it and see what happens.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely agree that we'll want to make sure the other Open Wallet Foundation projects are aware of this, so that they can use it for conformance testing. And yeah, this is awesome.
I'm very happy to hear.
I think the UK government might find it very interesting as well, but we can talk about
it. Would be good, Char, that we take our wallet and just see what happens with the tests as it is now. So seeing what actual parties can do. So Bifold and Credo, for example, to say, okay, we've got ways of do they conform to the tests?
Right, right.
Yeah. Andrea, I'll send you a link to the UK government's work on its government app /wallet, which is right in this area.
Okay.
So you can see what they're trying to produce and the verified credentials and presentation work that they're currently working on. You may find that interesting. We're happy to make an introduction, but sometimes it's better if they discover stuff for themselves, we've found.
Yeah.
I will find a way of them discovering you, but yeah.
We have relatively, well, we have some good connections within the EU, but I think that we haven't followed at all what's happening in the UK. So that'd be very nice to send me a link in so that we can have an idea.
I'll ping you a link after the call.
Perfect.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much for taking the time, Andrea. I really appreciate it. And yeah, glad we have your email so that we can keep asking questions. And yeah, was there anything else you wanted to leave us with, or any final questions from the group?
I just want to thank everybody for the interest, and your comments are very encouraging, and we're looking forward to work very close together with all of you who are interested in what we're doing. We're very, very happy.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. All right. Thanks everybody for joining. Join us next week at the same time for a dive into Bifold. And yeah, thanks for taking the time. Thank you so much, Andrea, and have a great rest of your day.
You too.
All right. Thank
Bye.
you,
Bye, everybody.
Forkbomb
Thank
team.
you.
Thank you, Sharon, Steven, and everybody else who joined us. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
We got
Cheers.
somebody asking a question in chat? No. Okay. Oh, that was okay.